Greetings from Podcastville. It's Monday, November 4th. The Church of What's Happening Now is brought to you by ForHims. Joey, what's ForHims? A one-stop shop for hair loss, skin care, and sexual wellness for men. Let me explain something to you. 66% of men start to lose their hair by the age of 35. And once you notice thinning hair, it could be too late, all right? I mean, is that hairline slowly starting to move backwards? Any bald spots? How's your erectile dysfunction these type of days? Listen, this is what ForHims does. They're one-stop shop. What you do is there's no snake oil pills, no gas station counter supplements. This connects you with real doctors online, which could save you hours, completely confidential and discreet. This Thanksgiving, when your relatives say healthy and full, they're finally going to be talking about your hair and not the turkey. Not to mention, they don't know about your fucking Dick Larod, but listen, you know, and that's the most important thing. You start to notice these things, you don't do something about them, they're going to get out of control. Do me a favor, go to ForHims.com right now. The church family can get started with Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5. You're saying, Joey, what are you talking? $5 today, while supplies last, and subject to doctor's approval. See website for full details and safety information. Listen to me. ForHims is going to work out for you because this could cost you hundreds. And if you went to a doctor or pharmacy or somewhere else, you're going deep, deep, deep into your pockets. With ForHims.com, we're going to save. So do me a favor. Go to ForHims.com/church/Joey. I'm sorry. Joey. That's ForHims.com/Joey. Again, ForHims.com. Listen, let's stop the hair loss. Let's stop the sexual problems. Let's go to ForHims.com right now and /Joey. The church is also brought to you by CBDLion.com. Listen, everybody wants to know about CBD. Uncle Joey's here to tell you. CBDLion.com. Go to the website. Read, study, learn. Third-party test results. Whether you want to drink it, eat it in a gummy, smoke it. Listen, CBD Lion's got you covered. They got a pamphlet, and they even tell you what CBD to get for your ailment. No other company goes that deep. You understand? Do me a favor. Go to CBDLion.com right now and press in church and get 20% off your first order. Listen to me. How many more weeks? If you learned a valuable lesson last week, you learned on Saturday night, Nick Diaz, whatever his name is, Nate Diaz, was the underdog, getting 120. Everybody and their mother bet Nate Diaz. You'd never seen a bookie with a part-time job. Maybe you're like Masvidal and you held back because you didn't even know where to put your action in. Listen, my bookie. Football season's here. Basketball season's here. You like winning money or you want to sit down and watch TV like a fucking mook eating onion dip like a fucking moron, getting fatter by the day. Cut it out. Listen, if you're going to sit there and watch, you might as well make a little money. You got the NFL. You got UFC. You got Bellator. Whatever. My bookies got it. They got better incentives and more lines than any other sports book. Period. So do me a favor. Right now, it's fucking Monday morning. Let's start off with a fucking bang. Double your first deposit right now. Today, use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, to get 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag today. Visit them right now. Let's cut the shit. MYBOOKIE.AG. And don't forget to use promo code CHURCH when creating your account to claim the bonus. And listen, check the Instagram on Thursday. There'll be something there for you. I'll give you a pick. I'll let you fucking teach you something that you don't know. MyBookie.ag. Kick this motherfucking muley. Thank you very much for joining me on a Monday motherfucking morning. First Monday of the month, solo edition podcast. We're going to break it down to 3 segments. I'm getting you the fuck in and out of here today. But let's kick off with the elephant in the room, just so you see. Listen, man, I use everything as a science project. And you look, you watch, you study, and you learn. 3 years ago, we had Jorge Masvidal on the show. 4 years ago, nobody knew who the fuck the kid was. You know, he had won a few, lost a few. He did a couple of exciting things. But nobody knew who the fucking kid was. He booked the trip. He booked the show. And South America's manager sent him down there to clear his head. And you heard it from his mouth that he realized he was leaving it up to the referees. A couple months back, we spoke about a situation called frustration, when you just get frustrated with yourself and you break the barriers. Jorge Masvidal knew he had. Now, for starters, I did not bet this. I did not pick a side. I like Nate Diaz as a fighter. I'm a fan of Nate Diaz as a fighter, and I'm a personal friend of George's. So for me to come on the podcast and start yelling and screaming, I just watched it as a fan. It's really weird what's happened to me the last year. Ever since my gambling days, I never really watched sports because sports to me meant gambling. But guess what? Over the last couple of years, I'm not going to lie to nobody, I've watched a couple of basketball series at the end. I'm big at the end. I'm big in the playoffs, the Final Four, the Baseball World Series. I watched all 7 games, which is very rare for me. It's good just to become a fan again. And with MMA and then, like everything else, I was looking at it as my past. And this time I just wanted to watch. In fact, I watched the fight at home with my wife. My wife is Masvidal came over the house. She loves Nate, we watched it. And, for you people who are in a part in your life, whether it's school or your business or whatever, listen, you always have the tools available to you. It's just putting them all together. Listen, how many times I open up my Twitter and I see somebody put a Spider-Man picture up of me facing Doc Ock or me running in the longest yard. Well, guess what? That was 2003 and 2004. That was 15 fucking years ago. So if you think I just popped up in 2010 because Rogan said I was funny or something like that, you're mistakenly wrong. This journey started in 91. I had the pieces to become a good comic maybe in 98. I just didn't listen and went off my own beaten path. But I caught myself and I stuck to the plan. And even if it took 18, 15 years, I caught myself and I did something with it. With Masvidal, it took, how many fights had he had? 40? He's had 40 fights already. 20 in some fucking black dude's backyard that they're selling fucking booze on the fucking lot and shit like that. So you get frustrated, you get sick and tired of where you are in life, and you do something about it. He's the fighter of the fucking year. They said it last night. It's amazing when you see this, because all of us have these gifts. We all have this. And we'll sit back and go, oh, I wish I did that. We all have the tools. It's putting them together all in one shot, the stars aligning, and you really, really, really taking a deep look at yourself and being honest and going, listen, I'm doing this. This is good, but I'm missing the point in 3 different fields here. I'm missing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to put more emphasis on this and more emphasis on this and forget about this and write this off. This just doesn't work at all in my life. It takes a big man to do that. It takes a man to do that, to somebody to look in within and go, this is not fucking working. You don't need anybody to tell you. Yeah, sometimes somebody will come to you as a friend and try to tell you, hey, this thing ain't working. And you'll get mad at him or whatever for your insecurities, but you know when something's not working. Nobody has to tell you. You know when something's not right inside of you. So I want to congratulate George. I want to congratulate Nate for a great fucking fight. A lot of people are disappointed. Hey, we weren't there. We don't know what that cut. Like I told Rogan on the phone this morning, I don't know what that doctor saw. I know years ago when I was a kid, a friend of mine got caught with a barbed wire. He was playing baseball or some shit, and he got caught with a barbed wire or something, and it cut the nerve in his face that moved his cheek. So for years, even after he got plastic surgery, he looked good. He still had dead movement in his cheek. It looked at the age of 20 like he had gotten a stroke. So we don't know. We weren't there. I want to congratulate George, congratulate the UFC on being fucking creative, and finally, making a car. It was just a great idea all around, and everybody enjoyed themselves. It wasn't the ending we expected. But again, you've never seen a bookie with a part-time job. Nate Diaz was the underdog. And if you saw people, like I told my wife, listen to the Garden. They're all yelling Diaz, Diaz, Diaz. Everybody and their mother bet Diaz. So it's just the way life works out. I hope they do it back and they run it back. But Listen, man, whatever point in your life you're on, you may be a little frustrated. Get that notebook out. I've said it once. I'll tell you 20 fucking times. This shit doesn't happen overnight. I wish it did. I wish that you just did something a few times and you got good at it. It takes time. And even when you should get there, you got to figure out what the fuck you're going to do with it. That's what people never really understand. Everybody wants to get to that place. But then they get to that place and they really don't know what to do. And I'm guilty of this too. None of us know what to do. We get kicked in the stomach 15 times and you figure it out. Masvidal figured it out. And this is a lesson for this is not about gambling, or this is not about who's tougher or who hit harder, or who's making a comeback. This is nothing. I'm trying to read between the lines here and show you guys that I wish that you read between the lines on this fight. Even his preparation for Diaz, everything. Whether Diaz got hurt or he couldn't run the last 4 weeks, Masvidal was precision. His kicks were precision. And it's something that you look at and whatever you do in your life, you're like, when is my life, one of the pieces going to fall together? Well, I'm sorry to tell you something. The pieces never fall together. When was the last time you bought a puzzle that was built? You ever bought a puzzle that was built? No. Mm-hmm. So why do you think the pieces are going to fall together? You have to put the pieces together. And I guarantee you that once you put the pieces together of your life, it's a different feeling. Look at Mike. He's a different man. He's a different man when you look at him. Look at the old him. What happened? Did he do drugs? Did he do steroids? No. He looked within himself. And he found the answer to all his fucking dilemmas. And he applied himself. And that's what we talk about here on the church. Doesn't happen overnight, man. The stars have to be aligned. Yes, I agree with you there. You got me on that argument. But you have to be prepared for the stars to be aligned. And you have to look at that fight like that. That's a big lesson for all of us that have been frustrated. There you go. He was frustrated. He was a 50-50 fighter. He didn't know what was going to happen when he got into a fight. All he knew was that he was tough and he knew how to handle himself, but that's not enough sometimes. That's not enough. This is where your mind comes in. And you tap into your mind, and your mind will set the game plan for you. Lee has always said you're very calculating. Every move has to be calculated. Or if not, you're going to get, if you watch Derek Lewis's fight, the first kick he threw, he didn't have to throw it. And what happened? He almost got his fucking leg twisted. Don't throw halfway. That lesson is, don't throw 50%. If you're not going to go 100%, don't throw it. Don't throw it. There you go, another lesson. Derek Lewis, when he threw his foot up like a big piece of steakum, and the guy grabbed it and tried to Volkov, whatever his fucking name, Dracula's cousin, tried to fucking twist his ankle and all that shit. That's what happens when you go into something half-cocked. So you learned two things watching that fight last night. So I hope that you fucking enjoyed it, and I hope that it all worked out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, just on the similar note, what did you think? I just don't know. I don't know how you feel about him, but what did you think about Kevin Lee switching to a great head coach? And
I don't know. That's not what.
No. But I'm talking about making a change, like Jorge. Okay.
I don't know. I didn't even think about fucking Kevin Lee. I wasn't even thinking about Kevin Lee, to be honest with you. That poor kid he fought, he's still in Jupiter. That poor kid. There's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no lesson there to learn. He swear it's a big fucking deal. He lost his last 3 fights. It was time he did something. I give him kudos for switching, but,
Okay.
He's that poor fucking kid.
Yeah, he went out.
They had to carry him out. His fucking head was a little man bun. What a fucking shame to wear a man bun and get knocked out. Unbelievable. What a fucking night for that poor kid. That poor bastard. Now, on a similar note, I want to tell you guys about a story that it didn't bother me at all. Not whatsoever, but it's just really weird how life changes. The week before I went to Jersey, I got a call from a dear friend of mine, 40-year friend. And he called me with a big problem. He had a bad situation going on in his life. And he needed a big favor from me. And I told him I'd look into it. And I hung up the phone. I made a few phone calls for him. And Jersey guy I grew up with. I love him with all my heart, you know. And that night at dinner, I ran it past my wife, and she couldn't believe it, but I explained to her that it was something I had to do, you know. This kid had been friends with me since maybe the summer of '78, and we navigated to one another, and it was weird because him and I, we hung out in a group of friends, but him and I gravitated to one another because of our love of psychedelic drugs and crazy shit. So when we were freshmen, when we would go out with these guys, we would smoke pot, and we would tell the other 6 guys that we were just smoking pot. But him and I were already dropping acid. But he had older brothers, and he didn't want his brothers to find out he was doing acid, so it was just him and I, secret. And this went on for a year, you know. This went on for fucking years of him and I tripping at parties. And he would go talk to chicks, and I would go talk to guys or chicks or whoever. And every 15 minutes, we'd just look at each other and smile. And one day, when he was a wrestler in high school, and one he was about to wrestle, and I had some of that THC crystal, that angel dust. And I asked him if he wanted to do a line in the afternoon, and he was like, yeah. And then he goes, holy shit, I got a wrestling meet at 4:30. And he was so high during the wrestling meet that he actually bit the kid, and he got disqualified. You know, when we were juniors in high school, you got to pass the paperwork forward. You know what I'm saying? Like if you sit in the back,
right,
you like pass the task forward, and I would get his test, and I'd erase his answers. And he would get like a fucking 70, and he'd be furious because he was fucking really smart.
I would have killed you.
He couldn't figure out, why the fuck am I getting 70s? I studied. I did the notes.
Oh, no.
And was that somebody erasing? And then he went to the teacher one day. He's like, somebody's erasing my answers. I think it's you fuck. And the teacher's like, why would I erase your answers and all this shit? This went on for years. We graduated high school together. We were very tight in high school. And this guy went to a prestigious college, you know, and during my homeless era, my whole fucked up era in 84 to 85, he was my only salvation. He was going to college, but he was selling coke at college. So he made me his partner because he couldn't go to the places to get the cocaine I could because I could speak Spanish. So he made me his partner, and we made some great money together. We ended up beating the dealer. We beat like 2 dealers, but he was there with me when I was homeless. He was one of those guys that was always my friend. He was one of the few people that when I was homeless and I was really upset, I remember crying in his car one day, like just breaking down in the daytime in his car, going, when is my life going to change? You know, when is this going to end? You know, it was like a curse on me. And he was the only ray of hope. I mean, I had dear friends growing up, and they all served their purpose for different things as their friendship. But this guy fed me. This guy would bring me money to a hotel. He knew more about me than most people knew what was going on. You know, when I was sleeping in the park, he asked me 10 times to just sleep in his garage. He's like, you don't need to sleep at the park, you know, sleep downstairs. My mother won't say nothing. I would go, you know what? We're too good of friends. You know, I don't want us to get into that situation. I'll be fine. And he finally gave me a blanket the one night. He came to the park and brought me a blanket. I mean, it was just different things. And we were always good friends, and it was always a 50-50 with us. But from 84 to 85, he really covered me out of pocket a bunch of times. And before I left in 85, I got a credit card, and I took him shopping. Trust me, I didn't pay for anything. It was a stolen credit card. But I bought him suits, sneakers, jewelry, cologne, more jewelry, a TV for his room. And at that time, 1985, he was so fucking slick. He had 2 speakers in his room with a stereo. And whenever you went to his house and he put the stereo on, you could tell only one speaker was working. The other speaker was close to the closet. And when we were 21 years old one day, He took me to that speaker and he took the lid off, the cover off the speaker. And if the speaker was 24 inches, whatever, 2 feet, he had a foot of rubber band money. And each rubber band was like $10,000. And listen, if you know any story about me, you know I robbed everybody. I never even thought about robbing him, especially the day he took that off. He knew the position I was in, and he knew what I could do. He had seen me in action, and he showed me that. And that was, I could never break his trust after that. But it was weird. He went to a prestigious college, he got a degree in engineering. He was a brilliant guy, and today he lives in basically a shack behind the house. I think it barely has heat. He has 3 or 4 teeth missing. He doesn't have a job. He just does odd jobs from time to time. He collects unemployment, and from time to time he sells an envelope. You know, he sells a little Coke to this guy or that guy. And that's how he makes ends meet. He lives how I thought it's like we switched lives. It's like somewhere along the line, we switched lives. Like, he ended up being who I was supposed to become, and I ended up becoming who he was supposed to become, you know. He was a smart guy. He was one of the smartest guys that I hung out with. On paper, he was fucking really smart. Like, he was just engineer type smart. SAT, he blew the fucking scores off the roof. He had scholarships offered to him. And he picked the school, and he went. He got a degree. And we all grew up during that cocaine epidemic. And, you know, I wasn't there for a long time. And then when I went back in 91, he was still in the fucking game and telling me this and that. And I'm not there. I'm not there, so I'm not watching. He could tell me whatever the fuck he wanted to. I would believe him. He's my brother. And then I went back in 93. And again, we hung out, you know, endlessly. I mean, he'd pick me up 5 nights a week just to go into the city to get weed. I mean, he was drop me off. I don't know how many times I was waiting for a bus on Kennedy Boulevard, and he'd swing by and give me a ride into the city. And we got pulled over one night. He didn't have a license, and he lied, and he gave him my life. I mean, it's just been a friendship that never fucking ended. But the last 10 years of his life have been a nightmare. He lost his dad. He got arrested. He had to serve probation. You know, he's never been married. He's never had any children. And, you know, when I was in that rocket ship at night in 83, I would think about my future at night and think about me in a little apartment, you know, a little smaller than this office. And I would see me with like a TV and just a couple pair of pants and a couple T-shirts, all of them dirty. And that's how I was going to end up. I accepted that. You know, I accepted that at an early age, that if I even lived to 50 or 55, that I would just be making it. I would be on disability or faking it somewhere or just fat or not going to work. I'd just be one of those guys. Like,
What did that upset you, or were you okay with it?
When I was that age?
Yeah, when you were thinking about this.
I came to that term. I was an idiot. I had no college, no high school education. My chances of going to college were slim and none. I couldn't stop putting this white powder in my nose. And I had no family. I had nothing going for me. I couldn't even fucking pay for breakfast. How was I going to pay for an apartment? So I just thought about my life. And I just saw myself in a rent-subsidized men's home, you know, with a little corner and a little hot plate and maybe a black and white TV. And at night I would read books and I'd accept my fate. I mean, that's what happens to people when you're uneducated and you have and you're addicted to drugs all your life. I mean, I saw that picture when I was 21 years old. I saw my future like that. So when he called me with this mess he was in, you know, I called a few friends. I reached out to a few friends, you know. Obviously, It cost me something, which I did not mind because of all these things that happened. But I also had to call him and talk to him a little bit and explain to him that I'm his brother and I love him and I'll do anything in the world for him. But he's 55 years old and he's got to bail out of this world with something. You know, I told him you just can't leave this world without doing something. You were meant to be a fucking engineer. You got a tremendous college degree. You know, the felonies fucked you up, but I know you. I know you since you were a kid. You've always figured a way out of this. It was a tough talk for me to have with him because he's one of my few friends that he's really sensitive right now. Like, he's at a point in his life where he's by himself. Even like his brothers turned their backs on him. One of the brothers came to one of my shows in Atlantic City and kind of yelled at me for still being his friend, that I'm not helping him, you know. And I told him I can't turn my back on him either. He was there for me. Had a really weird time in my life when I really needed somebody, you know. So I called him up. I had a real sensitive, on the light side, talk with him. I told him that I could help him, you know, if he got into a mess again. But the favors I had to call in for him on this one were huge. Like, I had to really get myself on my hands and knees to two of my friends to do this favor for me, for him. And after we had our talk, he thanked me when everything was taken care of. He thanked me like a man, like we do. He called and he explained what he did and what steps he took to take care of the situation. And I was happy. I was really content, and I told my wife that it's fine. You know, he's never going to get himself in this situation again. And that, you know, we're cool, you know. And then I got to thinking about it. And I got to thinking about all the friends, from Timmy to Roger to Fernie to Glenn Conti. There's a lot of guys who don't talk to me anymore, but there's a lot of guys I still have that were there since day one when there was no comedy career. So they have every reason to be my friend now. They have every reason to call for free tickets. They have every reason to exploit me at every fucking level, because when I wasn't even thinking about comedy, they had my back, you know. So I'm sitting there the other day, and I'm thinking about this situation with my buddy and how he got himself into this mess. And, you know, I'm lucky that I have a friend, and it's a cop, and I have a couple friends that are cops in Jersey, but this particular one, he's been a friend for a while, and not that type of friend that I could help him, call him for a favor, and I was happy that everything bailed out. But then I thought about something. And I thought about why the real reason was that I helped this kid out this time. And I've helped him the last 20 times. And the real reason, which I never told anybody till the other night, and it hit me on that fucking day. Mid-October, 79, I was doing everything. I was doing mescaline. I was smoking fucking THC crystal. I was snorting THC crystal. I was drinking, not a lot. I was never a big drinker. But I had always sworn off drugs. Like, I'd always sworn off cocaine and heroin and pills. They just were not going to be in my drug, whatever. I was very content with the marijuana and the acid. I was very content at the age of 15 with marijuana and acid.
I was gonna say, like, that's still pretty young, but
I liked the relationship I had with my friends. I enjoyed everything about those drugs. I had grown up, I had seen a lot of heroin in New York as a kid. And I didn't like what it did to people, especially two friends of my mom's that I saw go fucking astray. And I had definitely seen the results of cocaine being at the bar, you know, and I didn't know the full blast, but I knew that I didn't want to do any of those drugs, you know. But again, we're going to go. I told you guys a long time ago that there's 100 stories I could tell you, but there's 100 that I can't tell you. Well, for me to dip into this fucking book and this one-man show and everything, I've been writing a lot lately, and I thought about something that I've never really repeated. About mid-October, 79, if you know anything about where I lived in North Bergen and Gibbonette Terrace, I had an attic, then I had a second floor, and then I had the first floor, which had the living room, kitchen, and the dining area, and then a backyard. You could go out to the yard. Then if you walk down the steps, you hit a garage. There was a garage that had additional closet space, a bathroom, no shower, just a pisser and a sink, and a wash and a dryer. But then there was another set of stairs, a set of stairs that went down another level. And if you opened up that door, there was a refrigerator filled with beer, and there was a fucking bar, like a little 3-seat stool bar. And my mother had the bar stocked. And there was a record player down there. The walls had a couple of holes in them from our karate days when we'd go flying through the air down there. And it was paneling. It was paneled around the cinder block. And then it had a paneling around the hot water thing, the tank. And there was a room in there. This is a fucked up story. And when you went into that room, it was, again, half the size of the office. And let's say the hot water heater is right there. If you went behind the hot water heater, Lee, there was like a latch. I was down there playing around. There was like a latch that you had to like pick up this thing and kind of turn it like a paint can. You know, you pick up a paint can and it has that fucking bow in it. Well, think if you had to turn something like that. And it was kind of sensitive, but you had to turn it real slowly. And if you turned it, it would open up and a piece would come out like something that just your body could fit in, like a manhole.
So it was circular?
It was like circular, and you had to twist it around, and it was covered with a piece of metal.
Damn.
And if you took that up and you circled,
did it go to the sewer?
You went down into the street. You could go into the street. It was fucking scary. I looked in there one time and I heard noises.
Oh, Jesus.
And I closed that motherfucker up and I put the metal down. And that was it. So in that corner was just a hot water heater that used to be my stepfather's tools. And that's it. I don't know what happened October of 79. Something made me go downstairs. And I'm lying to you guys. Maybe August of 79. Something made me... I'm lying again. Maybe July of 79. Something made me... I just had to refresh my memory. Something made me go downstairs. And I went downstairs one time and I opened up the thing. I saw that the door was a little open, like an inch. And I go, why is this fucking... These two... Because it was like two panels that you opened
to the small room.
To the small room. So I went down the stairs, opened up the door, and noticed that the two panels, one of them was open. And when I opened up the panels, I went inside, and there was a coffee bean bag, like a bale, but it was filled with weed.
Oh, shit.
And I took a little top piece off the top, and I went upstairs, and I didn't say nothing to nobody. At that time, I was getting weed from this guy named Joe. He was my main dealer, Joe. I would call Joe, and I would buy an ounce for $75 and sell them for or 50 and sell it for 100 and make $50 off him. And he'd give me a ride uptown. He was a good guy. So I took this weed and I rolled it up and I smoked it with some of my friends. And the weed was tremendous. And the guy's name was Joe. And I gave some to Joe and he's like, where'd you get that weed from? That weed's better than mine. So I got a whole fucking tank at home.
Jesus.
Filled with this shit. So I went back and just kept taking it. And I come home one day and there's some two guys there with a chick and they remembered me and they hugged me and shit. And they're talking to my mother. And I hugged them and, we haven't seen each other in a long time. I forget what their names are, guys. That I really do. But it was a bigger Cuban guy, a skinnier Cuban guy, and then the skinnier Cuban guy's wife. And I had known them. Every time I went to Miami, they were friends with my Uncle Rodolfo, my godfather. So I would see them in Miami. Now they're in my living room when I'm talking to them. And they telling me how they're staying up there now. And, I didn't figure it out at the time. So I go downstairs a couple days later. It's a different batch of weed. They had taken the old batch. And I kept going downstairs and taking a little bit and selling it to Joe and selling it to my friends. And I was just making spare money. And one day my mom actually pulled me over. And she goes, "Can I talk to you in private for a second? Have you been snooping around down there?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Have you been going down there and taking marijuana out of those bales?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Because the guy called the other day and he wanted to know if I'd taken out like a half ounce. Did you take it out of there?" And I felt heartbroken. I did not want my mother to know I did drugs at any point. So I lied to her. I said, "No." And she goes, "I wonder what the fuck is going on." But at this time, my mother had to know. I had sticky fingers. I had caused a lot of problems with one, and there was just too many suspicious fucking things, Things were disappearing, things were moving, So I said, "You know what? Out of respect for my mom, I'm not going to touch that thing no more." But I got sick. I ended up getting that
Paraquat?
Paraquat. I ended up going to the hospital for 28.
From the weed that you
13
stole,
days.
or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know whose weed it was that I got the Paraquat from. So I laid off the weed for a few weeks. I got out of the fucking hospital. I laid off the weed. I did acid immediately. I was a young kid, but I was a stupid fuck. September 28th, 79. I got out of the hospital. There's a big time fight. I think we checked it before. Muhammad Ali against somebody. I don't fucking know. And a few weeks after that, I go, "Let me go downstairs and see if there's any weed downstairs." And I go downstairs. I open up the little cabinet, and there's 2 barrels. So I open up the one barrel, and sure enough, it's weed. I take a couple little buds, like maybe an eighth. And I figure I'm going to take an eighth from both bales. They'll never know. And when I open up the other bale, it wasn't weed.
Oh.
It was coke. I'd never done coke before. I knew what it did to people. I didn't know exactly. I knew it made people talk a lot, and I knew it made people make weird faces, and I knew it made people make little fucking gestures with their fucking filthy little hands. So I said, "What do I do?" So I said, "You know what? I'm going to take a little bit and put it in a container and put it upstairs and just save it. Just see if somebody wants to buy it or whatever." So that night I took a little bit from it and I put it in aluminum foil. That's what it was in 79. Everybody had an aluminum foil. Knowing what I know now, I probably took a gram, and I probably took 3/10 or 4/10 of a gram and put it in aluminum foil and gave it to a friend of mine and said, "Let me know what you think." He's like, "Wow." Because in those days, to give somebody, just for somebody to give you a joint was big. To somebody give you cocaine, everybody wanted cocaine in those days. And here I had it in my fucking garage.
Interesting how strong it was.
Yes, I gave it to my buddy. I go, "Well, tell me what you think." Fucking the next day, he's like, "Dog, that shit is fucking rocket fuel. You got to get me more." But I knew the value of it, and I didn't want to get my mother in trouble. So I told him I couldn't get it no more. And I took the rest of it and put it in like a jacket, and it stayed there. And I figured I was going to wait for another friend of mine to tell me that he did it, and I would give him the whatever I had left, So come Halloween Day, 1979, the night before, we already made a plan. Like, ain't nobody going to school tomorrow. We're playing hooky. We're going to cut out a UN. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in."
Because you were trick-or-treating a lot?
Yeah, because I was trick-or-treating. I fucking didn't trick-or-treat at all. And, I think I didn't wear a costume after I was 12, 10.
I can't imagine.
I think after
if you're doing acid, you can't wear a costume.
I didn't wear no fucking costume. I think that that year I went to a Halloween party, and I think that me, Lubes, we were just talking about this at the Stress Factory in New Jersey. Me and Avillo were talking about it. That me, Avillo, and my friend Lubes dressed up like Ghost, and we all took acid, and we all just stared at each other all night. Tremendous. And we did go to a Halloween party. That was probably the last time I dressed up. It was that year like a ghost. And I think I dressed up again when I was 2 years later in Colorado, like an abortion. But we ate the quaaludes and I passed out and we never made it out of the house. So I woke up with a hanger around my neck and long underwear. Fucking hilarious. But
to get back to it, so the night before Halloween, 79.
So the night before Halloween, 79, me and my buddies go, fuck it, we're going to play hooky tomorrow. Okay. So that morning when I woke up, I took a shower, I got dressed, and I go, all right, I'm going to go meet my buddies. I had some weed, I had some mescaline, and I go, wait a second, maybe I should bring this Coke. And I go, I'll bring the Coke with me. I'm not going to do it, but I'll give it to somebody, some chick, whatever. I'll give them some Coke and fucking. So I took the Coke with me. I took the bus up to the high school. We met at Wizards, where we used to meet, a pinball place called Wizards.
Hysterical.
And we were on our way to Albertsons by Hudson County Park to rob booze from Albertsons, because Albertsons had no security. So we just go in there and each of us would take something and run out and run into Hudson County Park with booze, and they couldn't chase us.
I like how you're half a kid at a pinball place, and then you're stealing liquor from.
So we're at a pinball place that's next to Hashways, the deli. In those days, it was the pinball place, Hashways, and then a liquor store on the corner. And the kid, Joe Ascione, used to hang out at that liquor store all the time. He was friends with the owner. The guy knew, like, all we had to do was stand in front of the fucking liquor store. He knew we were hellions. And he knew he would smash his fucking windows. So he wasn't going to not. If we got somebody to go into him, he would sell us the booze.
Oh, okay.
So we're walking past. We're at Wizards. And we go, fuck it. We can't find anybody at 10 to buy us booze. So we go, let's go to Hudson County Park. Why are we paying for booze? Let's just rob the fucking Albertsons and run into the park and get hammered. And we'll smoke these. We bought like a $25 bag of weed, and we rolled it up the night before, like 32 joints. And, we'd start at 10, and we'd go till 3 in the afternoon. Like, oh, my God. So we're walking up to Hudson County Park, and all of a sudden we hear, like, brakes.
Yeah.
And we turn around, and 50 yards from us is a beer truck. Across the street from that liquor store.
You don't have to go to Albertsons anymore.
Sometimes he would park in front of the liquor store. For some reason, he parked in front of the bank across the street from the liquor store. And we looked at him. It was one single guy. He's walking across the street, like, whistling, like it's a beautiful day to be alive. We fucking dash across the street. And not on the side that's to him.
Yeah, the back
but
side.
The other side. Yeah. We go on the other side, slide open a fucking door, and we each take a case of something. Heineken, Michelob, whatever. Oh my God. And we fucking start running down the fucking hill. And the guy's like, hey, come back. And we start throwing cases. And, like out of 4 or 5 of us, I think we lost 3 cases. The guy's chasing us down the fucking hill. And we ran down to like a street called Tunnelly. And then my buddy said, the one that got into the trouble 3 weeks ago, a month ago, said to me, my mother's getting her hair done today. It's a certain day. Let's go to my house. So we went back to his house. We put the beers in the refrigerator. We took the other beers and put them in a bucket with ice. And we smoked pot in his yard for a little while. We got nice and weeded up. It was like maybe 6 of us at this point. 2 other guys came over. And I'll never forget, we had a case of quartz. And one of the guys robbed a bottle of vodka from his mother's house. And everybody was Italian in that neighborhood. So everybody had Zambuca. So my buddy, whose house it was, that I did all the acid with, like that day, we were in the basement listening to music, getting high. But the other 4 guys didn't know that him and I were on acid.
Oh, you were also on acid that day?
We were on acid. We were drinking and we're smoking dope. It's 11 in the morning. And we're getting high. We're listening to Led Zeppelin. We were young. I had Ted Nugent. This is way before Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is like Aerosmith days, Ted Nugent. And we're sitting there. And the next thing you know, he says to me that he's going to go upstairs and make vodka and Zambuca, like peppermint schnapps. We also had peppermint schnapps.
Oh, shit.
So we were going to make vodka and sambuca, and there's a name for that, like a frozen something. I don't know. I'm not up to all the fucking bartender names and shit like this. So he goes, let's go upstairs and let's shave ice and let's make these Zambuca or these peppermint schnapps, vodka drinks. So I said, okay. So they're all downstairs. I don't know how many kids are exactly there, but me and him go upstairs alone. This kid, like I said, at the time he was an honor student, but he was crazy like me. He was into, hallucinogenics, and it was just me and him. It was our little secret. And the real reason why I helped him out, and I always help him out, is because of this. I've never told nobody this. While we were in that kitchen, I looked at him, and I go, hey, I got to show you something. And I went in my pocket, and I took out the aluminum foil. And he goes, what is that? And I go, it's cocaine. And he goes, where'd you get it? And I never lied to him. I got it from downstairs in my mother's basement. I go, but I gave some to such and such. And he told me it's rocket fuel. What do you think? Now, in my heart, I didn't really want to do it. But if he called my bluff, I would have been stuck. So he goes, fuck it. Let's do it. So I opened up the aluminum foil. I emptied out what was on that thing. We cut it up into 4 lines. We each did a line. We looked at each other for like 4 or 5 minutes. Then we did another line, a piece. And then whatever was left, we sprinkled on the drinks. And we drank that. And we never told nobody. Nothing. But the reason why that kid didn't grow up to his potential was because I gave him that line of coke that day. And I could never forget that. And I can never forgive myself for that. And when that thought came to me Thursday night, because this came to me Thursday, I went to the stress factory last week. The situation with the cops was handled by Friday, and he had gotten the check by Monday. I spoke to him on Tuesday. For 2 days, whatever went down had eaten away at me. But Thursday, after the fucking trick-or-treating and the walking and the Halloween parade, that night, when I got home that night, I looked at my wife. I go, can I tell you something? Do you really want me to tell you why I bailed this kid out? I've never told anybody this. I go, because I was the first person to ever give that kid cocaine. Me and him did cocaine together, Halloween 1979. If I wouldn't have given him that coke, his life would have been completely different. And maybe my life would have been completely different. Because I would have never done it. I don't know if I would have done it. I don't know.
I mean, part of you has to realize that, like you said at the beginning, that you guys grew up through the cocaine epidemic. So you could be right.
Listen,
but,
man,
I mean, it's at least 50-50, which is probably not even.
We were 50 miles away from that island. I could look you in the eye and tell you that. If you want me to candy coat it for you, you know me, I could candy coat it, but I'm not going to candy coat it for you.
Okay.
We were 50 miles away from that island. We shouldn't even have thought about doing cocaine until we were 19. And by that time, we would have looked at each other and said, it's too late. We ain't doing that junk. Look what's happening around us. But we didn't. I should have never taken that coke. And I should have never brought it to that kid's house that day. So after I told my wife this, and she looked at me, she goes, now I knew. I got up like a man. I went in my office and I called him. I go, hey, can I talk to you about something? I just want you to know something. And this is how I feel. I feel that you went to this college. You did all these great things. But it was the poison I gave you in 1979 that led you astray. Because he told me when I spoke to him on Tuesday that he had gotten a little fucked up again for a few weeks, that he went off track. This has been going on. Me and him were the same person until I quit 12 years ago. So, do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? I've always had that guilt about that kid. I've robbed people. I've done a lot of bad, stupid shit. But that has always eaten me alive. That I gave that kid his first line of coke, his first 2 or 3 lines of coke. And after that, we just fell in line. Like, after that, there was no stopping us. Within 3 months, I remember me and him eating a Quaalude. We had a Quaalude on the coldest night of fucking January and went to a party at Hudson County Park, and then went to a Chinese restaurant. That opened up a door. By that time, we were already fucking snorting. Acid was creeping away, and cocaine was coming in. And yeah, hey, listen, maybe I'm big. You're right, Lee. And he even said it. He goes, I don't look at it that way. I would have snorted. Listen, who knows? Who knows? But maybe those 2 years. Maybe if we didn't bust it out for 2 years, and we would have kept doing acid, and everybody else would have got fucked up, we would have seen the results of other people getting fucked up, and we wouldn't have done what he done.
It's possible. I mean, I know it's not possible, but this is a question I always ask myself. Like, if you could go back and redo it and, like, have to live your life all over again and change that, would you do it?
No, I would have never taken that cup.
But if you could, what I'm saying, if you had the choice, be like, okay, you can either keep going or go back and switch it, but then you have to live your life all over again.
I don't know. I don't play those games myself.
That's all I do.
All I'm saying is that it was a bad move by me 40 years ago this Halloween. And I wouldn't have gone through half of the shit I went through, and he wouldn't be in the position he was in today if we wouldn't have fucking done this. And I have to look at it from that perspective. I really do. I really have always felt that. And after he got in trouble, like the first time when the cops kicked his door down, I was always welcome at his house. After the cops kicked his door down, and I did the longest yard, and in the interviews for the local papers, it said that I did time, he wouldn't invite me to his house anymore. And I think his mother put it together, and his father put it together. And I think his mother still knows that we're friends, but she put together that maybe because he hung out with me at an early age, he got into the trouble he did. Because when I gave my interview in 2004, I was very candid. I was very honest about my drug use and stuff, and they put it all on paper. I didn't mention any names, but, your son's with this kid 5 fucking nights a week. One night I put coke in their house. I hid it, and I woke her up at 4 in the morning and told her that I left my wallet in his bedroom. And I went in his bedroom and took the coke out of the closet because he was in the city. I mean, we put her through hell growing up.
Fuck.
So, these are the stories I tell people that I live with, and I'm ashamed of. He had the potential to do anything he wanted in this fucking life. Anything he fucking wanted in this life. Do I get up in the morning and cry? No. Do I go to see a psychiatrist about it? No. I feel the same thing you feel. Part of me feels that eventually we both would have ended up where we would have ended up. That's the way fate is. But in my little paranoid, responsible mind, I'm responsible for that kid. And I love him dearly. Like I love him dearly. He's my brother. I'll never let him starve. I'll never let anything bad happen to him because he never took a beating for me, but he took a lot of beatings because of me. And he would tell everybody to go fuck themselves. So this is the story of my life. This is who I am today. Speaking of which, yesterday, November's always been a weird fucking month for me, guys. Like, November's one of those months that one of my great friends died in November. Sunday, yesterday, the 3rd. It's 12 years she's been dead, It was Rick Ramos's birthday yesterday. It was, my mother died this year, November 8th, to be the 40th anniversary of my mother's death. I got arrested this month in 87. I quit cocaine in November in 2007. I'm coming up on 12 years of no coke. A lot of different things happened to me. I was initiated into Santeria in November. November's a pretty big month for me. And yesterday morning, I woke up. I knew Marilyn had died either the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th. I just had to wait till it popped up on Facebook. This was Rick Ramos' birthday. And I knew the anniversary. But this morning, Sunday morning when I woke up about 8 and I was pissed and I was pissed and I immediately thought of Marilyn. And I swear to God, guys, I went in, got coffee, had breakfast with the family. The girls went to church. I had to take a class on Sundays on screenwriting. And I think 20 minutes after my wife and the baby left, the phone rang and it was Rick. And I go, happy birthday. I was just about to call you. I was just thinking about Marilyn. I know this is the day. It was 12 years. Me and Rick spoke a little bit. We spoke about Apocalypse Now. How he was there till 8:30 waiting for me like a fucking idiot. That's why I love him. But, I talk a lot about Ralphie on here. We touch on Brody a lot. I never really talked to you guys about Marilyn Martinez. I met Marilyn Martinez in '96 in Los Angeles. The Latino Laugh Festival was doing a showcase. And they said that if I could get myself down here, they would put me up for 2 nights and give me like $100 for per diem if I came down and showcased at the Improv. So I drove down here. Rod Long had to do a trip. He was a photographer. So thank God to Rod Long out of Seattle. Rod Long, I told Rod Long about my situation. He goes, fuck it, I got to go to LA anyway. I'll drive you. He goes, we'll just drive and split the gas. I go, fine. And we drove to LA and I went to the Improv and I ate a bag of dicks for the showcase, I mean, there's one thing driving 10 minutes and dying. Never mind driving 18 hours to die a slow death. But it was also on Monday night. They told me to go over to the Laugh Factory at Latino night. They said, if you go over there and tell me you're from out of town, they'll put you up. And I went over there. The place was sold out. The lineup was fucking pure death. Pablo Francisco, Carlos Mencia, George Lopez. I mean, it was fucking just dirty, fucking tremendous show. I got there in time, and I asked the kid if I could go up, and he goes, yeah, you go up next. In fact, we were waiting for you. We set apart 6 minutes, and I went up there and died another slow death. But I made a couple people laugh, and one of the people I made laugh was this chubby chick in the back. I wasn't on stage 2 minutes, and the girl came right up to me, and she's like, I know you. You're from Denver. People talk to me about you. You used to work in Boulder. And I go, yeah. And she goes, my name is Marilyn Martinez. And I gave her a hug, and she introduced me to a little black Crip husband who's a sweetheart of a man. And we went outside, and she filled me in on L.A., and at the Latino scene was moving, and this and this and this. And she gave me a number. And the next day I got up in the hotel, and with the last $20 I had, I think I took a cab over to Silver Lake, and she introduced me to Jeff Garcia and a bunch of other comics, and she gave me numbers to call once I came back to LA, and she said, you should just stay. I got a spare bedroom. After I ate there, I got to meet her. She's like, just stay. I'm like, I can't. I got a girlfriend up in Seattle. I'm on probation. I got to go back up there, blah, 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 blah. But I called her every week from Seattle. I kept in touch with her for like 6 or 7 months. And then once Doug Stanhope came up there and told me to move, I called her and I said, what do you think? And she goes, now is the perfect time. And I came down there and she introduced me to the guy that was doing Latino night at the store, and he was doing Latino night at the Improv. I forget what his name is. God bless his soul. He was a good dude. And then Latino night at the Laugh Factory was up. So she pretty much filled me in on what to do. She asked me where I was going to go Monday night, if I had a place to stay, and I had a girlfriend. And I said yes. And she goes, well, make sure you go to the store. And I'm not going to go down there tonight, but I'll see you there during the week. You have to get into the store. Because from the time she saw me get off stage, she was one of those people that came up to me and said, has Mitzi seen you yet? And I'm like, nah, Mitzi hasn't seen me. So it was just, I kept in touch with her. I moved back. And then when I came to LA, I called her and we became friends. And she was a big time regular at the store. Mitzi loved her. That was Mitzi's girl. Mitzi loved her because she was dirty. She was fat. She was brash, the whole fucking thing. So after I became, even before that, I think she talked to Mitzi about me, and Mitzi listened to her a little bit. So it was like her and Eddie Griffin. And we just became dear friends. And then she introduced me to Rick Ramos. Like maybe 2000 and maybe, I don't know, when Rick first moved here, he was a kid. And we became friends, and I learned a lot from her, from comedy, because she had been here for that long. She had been here already for like 15 years. She was regular at the store like in 94 or something like that. And we became dear friends, and it was just amazing. She was friends with Ralphie also. I mean, we were all three fat fucks, so we loved each other. And I still remember going on the road with her to Corpus Christi. I flew, and her husband drove. And when I went to their room the next day, they came up with one of those 9-foot coolers.
Right, yeah.
And they had everything in there. Sandwich meat, peanuts, yogurt. They were happy as shit on the road. I mean, we were both getting like maybe $750. The plane ticket was maybe $2. I just didn't want to drive the 24 hours, But I still remember her coming up one night going, hey, they're looking for you downstairs. Did the guy pay you? I go, yeah, he paid me. She goes, did he give you an envelope filled with cocaine? I go, no. He goes, here, take mine. And she gave me an envelope filled with fucking coke. And then I went down and got more coke. Marilyn was one of us. Marilyn was really well respected at the store, She was just starting to bust out. Like she had a little success with Paul Rodriguez. And then she did the Divas of Comedy. And then she did something else for Showtime. And she was getting love. She was opening up for Paul. And she had a stomach ache one day. It didn't go away for 2 days. And she went to the doctor and they told her she had cancer. And we went down there and saw it had spread fucking like wildfire already, And then when I got down, I heard the story that she hadn't gone to the bathroom in 4 weeks. After the first week, you gotta be, but we're all very scared of doctors and we think the things are gonna pass. This is the type of shit I do. And it was too late, She got diagnosed in April. They did all this surgery to her, all these surgeries. She stayed in the hospital till probably July. And then after that, it was in and out. Like you would talk to her one day at the house. The next day you were talking to her at the hospital. Then the next day they'd move her to another hospital because they specialize in that cancer and fucking Carson. So we couldn't get to go see her. But then she finally came home. And on a Sunday, they had a big thing for her at her house. And I went over there. They put her bed. They had her in a special bed in the living room. And when I walked in the room, she had lost 70 pounds. And I gave her a hug and a kiss. And we talked and we ate. And I played with the cats. And I talked to her husband, Dave. And it was a small window that her and I had. And I went over to her and I sat and I go, how you feeling? And she knew she was dying. You could see in her eyes that she was scared. And she said to me that she was very Catholic, but she was very dirty on stage. And I remember one day my wife telling me that, how come every time she calls here, she's got to answer the phone, cocksucker. Like she goes, my wife would answer the phone like, hello, and she'd go, cocksucker. And she was very dirty. And I remember that day she said to me that if she got to survive cancer, that she would never do a dirty joke again because God didn't want her to do dirty material. Now I'm sitting there this whole time and I'm listening to her, and I know she's under some type of drugs, like they had her for pain, like she was suffering. And we're talking back and forth about cancer and how many more treatments she has. And if she gets out of this patch, she's got one surgery left. And she looks up at me. What we're talking about, like weather. I don't know what we're talking about, but it wasn't what came out of her words. It wasn't what, we were talking, like, if we were talking about sports, she just stopped. And she looked me straight in the face like nobody ever has. And she goes, by the way, God wants you to stop doing coke. And dog, if you know anything about me, if anybody ever said that to me, I would laugh in their face. But the way her eyes were looking at me, I knew she wasn't fucking around. It just stared into me, and the feeling went through my eyes and into my stomach, and I'm like, if it was anybody else, I would have told her to go fuck herself. And I just said, okay. And that was a Sunday. And I think I did coke like that night. Like it was weird how this whole situation went down, but it started with her. Her plea, like she just stopped. She goes, you gotta stop doing coke. God wants you to stop doing coke, Joey. You have a career. You have a great girlfriend. You have to stop. And I looked at her and I said, I know, which usually I would have told you, go fuck yourself, mind your business. What do you know how much coke I'm doing? I was in denial like any other addict, And I said, you're right. And I think that night I got high. Maybe the night after that I got high. And then I had that meeting for that movie.
The one where they said you couldn't.
Yeah, it was around that time. Or maybe I'm lying to you. What happened was I had a benefit in New Jersey. One on Friday night for the Hoboken Police Department, and one on Saturday for the North Bergen basketball. The one on Friday was in Hoboken, and one on Saturday was in North Bergen. I got high like that Sunday and Monday, and then something wasn't right. And I may have gotten high that Thursday, but I couldn't wait to get on the plane to get high. Like maybe I didn't get high that Thursday. I didn't. And I touched base in New York, and I had my own hotel room. I had a great hotel room in Fort Lee. And I was close to a friend of mine that she could always get coke. Like I grew up with her. I talked to her and her husband all the time. And in fact, she was telling me, call me when you're ready and I'll bring something over. I have the cash. I'll put it up for you. And I remember something just wasn't right. That Friday night I didn't get high. That Saturday night I didn't get high. And that Sunday when I landed was I found out that she died.
Well, when did she pass away?
Like that Saturday night.
Fuck.
So when I landed, when I called home, my wife told me Marilyn died. That Monday, I went to that meeting for that guy. That Tuesday, and then I think that that next weekend was the weekend when the cat died. And I got on my hands and knees and I said, so I was clean for like 4 or 5 fucking days. I was mad about the Maryland thing. I hadn't gone in for the movie thing yet. I think I did go in. I was mad about the movie. When Marilyn came back, I left her funeral because their funeral was in Silver Lake. And then there was a cemetery burial. Mm-hmm. I could only make it to the funeral at the church. I couldn't make it to the burial because I had an interview that day for that movie. It was all like fucked up. And I still remember going in that day for the movie and being furious. And like that night was the benefit for Marilyn at the store. And I wasn't going to go. And somebody go, you have to go down there. She was your friend. You have to go down there and represent. And I was sober maybe 4 or 5 days. And I'm like, fuck, this is going to be rough. And I actually went and stopped and got a package, put it in my pocket, and went down there. And that's the night I caused havoc with that poor producer. I caused havoc, and they asked me to leave the store. They didn't throw me out. They knew it wasn't my fault, but I gave the package away. And then that following week was when I gave it up officially. But if it wasn't for Marilyn talking to me in that tone of voice, I would have probably still been doing coke today. So I want to thank Marilyn. I want to let you guys know about it. It was 12th anniversary. I appreciate Rick Ramos calling you. And that's it. It's a Monday fucking morning podcast, motherfuckers. Nice and simple. I just wanted to tell you some things about my life, get you started for a great week, and let you know it's going to be a good fucking year. It's going to end good, and 2020 is going to be even motherfucking better. Don't not forget, listen, Detroit, I'll be there Thursday, and Friday and Saturday is already sold out in Omaha. Listen, right now at this point, I got 2 nights available in Miami. I got Friday the 28th and Saturday the 29th. I think those are the dates in November. Go to my improv.com and double check. I'm at the Miami Improv on Friday. The 2 late shows are sold out, so you only got your choice of early show. And for the following week, and all I have is tickets available for the 10:30 show at Town Hall in New York City. The early shows, there's tickets left, but they're all over $170. Don't pay for those fucking things. They even got tickets for $900. Do not pay for
They're
those
scalpers.
things.
That's not.
No. It's on the site. It's on the fucking Town Hall site.
Whoa.
Yeah, so don't not get those. Just get shows. It's New York. They were out for fucking the fight last night till 1 in the morning. It's comedy. You could stay out till midnight with Uncle Joey. So it's the 29th and 30th, whatever the fuck it is, Miami Improv. And then December 6th, tickets are still available. The 10:30 show in Town Hall. Real quick, I just want to talk to you about a few people, and then I'll get you out of here. CBD Lion. Listen, CBD's everywhere. Jesus fucking Christ. There's a place by the Improv that you go in, give them a blood test, and they say that they make CBD specialized to what the fuck you need. Listen, that's all great and dandy. But for right now, I got what's going to get you to the next level. You ready? Come here. CBDlion.com. Listen, I approached them. I tried their product. I reached out to them. The rest is fucking history. They sent me a box of the tinctures and the gummy bears and the shatter and the vapor. My wife does the vapor pen still before she goes to bed. I'm all out of gummies. I got to get some more gummies from them. But the tinctures, I drink fucking 5,000 milligrams under my tongue every night, and I sleep like a fucking baby. You know what? This last week I did 66 points on Weight Watchers, whatever, the athletic thing. Let me tell you something. This thing helps me recoup. It helps my recovery. It takes down inflammation. CBD is the way to go. It's the future. But there's a lot of fucking mystics out there. There's a lot of garbage out there. Don't be fooled. CBDlion.com. Go to their website. They got third-party test results. And they have the CBD that you need to use for the particular ailment. Who does that for you? Nobody. Go to CBDlion.com right now and press in church and get 20% off your first order. Do not forget, listen, you're getting a little older. Maybe you're young. You're losing your hair. You're having some problems. You're eating egg whites so the dick ain't getting as hard like it used to be. Never fear. Uncle Joey's here. The solution? ForHims.com right now. It's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. Listen, the best way to prevent more hair loss is to do something about it while you still got some left. It's time to get a handle on those precious locks, okay? This Black Friday, secure the best deal of all with a healthier, thicker hairline. Why do guys turn to weird solutions to do nothing? Why? They don't do dick, and you know it. When you can turn to medicine and science. Again, I show up with ForHims.com. A one-stop shop. Hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness. Uncle Joey, what's sexual wellness? Your fucking pogo stick ain't working. Maybe it gets erect. You know, listen, even if you got a good dick, why take a chance? You're going on the first, the second, third date. Get a little extra help. Go in there. Listen, for years, all these fighters did steroids. What, you're not allowed to do steroids because you're going to go give some poor chick a stabbing? Go to ForHims.com right now. You understand me? No more awkward in-person doctor visits or long pharmacy lines. ForHims connects you with real doctors online, which could save you hours. It's completely confidential and discreet. What you do is you answer a few questions, a doctor will review it, and they determine what's right for you. They can prescribe a medication to treat hair loss or ED that's shipped directly to your door. Nobody knows nothing. This Thanksgiving, when your relatives are like, oh my goodness, you're looking healthy and full. They don't know. They don't know about your hair, that you're not a turkey, and that what's dangling between your legs, it's a fucking nightstick from the police department. You understand me? Go to ForHims.com right now. Listen, the church family right now gets a complete hair kit a complete hair kit for $5. You're like, Joey, what are you talking about? $5 right now while supplies last and subject to doctor's approval. Stop losing hair. Stop being the Momo in bed. Stop, cutting yourself short when you got help. Listen, right now, go to the website for full details and safety information. ForHims.com could cost you hundreds, if not thousands, if you went to a doctor or a pharmacy somewhere else. I'm going to get you started for $5 today. Go to ForHims.com/Joey. Again, go to ForHims.com/Joey. Why walk around looking like a mook, like a clown with no hair, and your dick don't work when you got ForHims? ForHims.com/Joey. Listen, it's football season. It's basketball season. And you're still there asking yourself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You're betting with a bookie. You got no options. My Bookie AG gives you options. They got more prop bets than any other website online. And this year, they're running a super contest. Right now, $100 to enter. You pick 5 motherfucking teams a week against the spread, and you rack up the points. At the end, they count the points. First prize, first place is guaranteed $100,000. Well, where the fuck are you going to get that action? Meanwhile, you're betting 5 times. You're betting those parlay cards, and you're winning every week for $11. Give yourself a break. Win some real money. Listen, their site just got revamped, and it's looking tremendous. Go take a look if you haven't already. What I'm going to do for you is this. Why I like my bookie is this. You win, you bet, you win, you get paid. What they're going to do right now, today, Monday, double your first deposit. Use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, to get a 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. Joey, what does that mean? That means that if you put $500 in, my Bookie AG will match it. Who the fuck is better than you on a Monday morning? Who's slinging dick like you on a Monday morning? Niente, nobody. So visit mybookie.ag today, right now. MyBookie, grab a pen. MYBOOKIE.ag. And don't forget to use promo code CHURCH when creating your account to claim your bonus, all right? And don't forget this Thursday, I'm going to be dropping one of my bookie videos to rock your fucking world. So go to mybookie.ag, press in promo code CHURCH. I want to thank MyBookie. I want to thank ForHims.com. And I also want to thank CBDLion.com. But most importantly, I want to thank you fucking savages for always supporting the church and having our back no matter what. Do not forget, Omaha sold out. All 4 shows are gone. Detroit, again, they got $2,000 tickets. You don't want those. Wait till I go to Buffalo, Canada. And you make a nice weekend. You get your tickets early, and nobody gets their feelings hurt. I don't want nobody paying over fucking $40 fucking dollars, $35, $32 plus a ticket charge. I'm not no fucking Houdini. I can't change your life. What am I, Anthony fucking Robbins? Anyway, Miami, December 6th at Town Hall, The Late Show, 10:30. Beside that, I love you motherfuckers with all my heart, all right? The Christ Killer loves you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for having us back. I want to thank our sponsors again, MyBookie, ForHims, and CBD Lion. And that's it, and that's that. Have a great week. Have a great day, and we'll see you motherfuckers Wednesday. Tip top motherfucking Magoo. Kick this mule, Lee.